Hi everyone, and welcome back to the One Project, and this is day 6, and I have a signature in my journal that I'm constructing in a week which has 12 pages. I really learnt yesterday that keeping things simple and straightforward is very enjoyable during these times, and not to overcomplicate things. You can see here I've got a selection of stones. I've been really overcome in the last few weeks with how well my children are setting to and getting done with their home education. And I decided that I would like to take this opportunity to learn something new about something I already love. You can see here I'm playing with some stones on the table. There's stones with holes in, which are known as hag stones, and stones with lines around them that are called wish stones. And other than that, I didn't know anything about them. So I took inspiration from my children and I set to the internet and I looked at a few research videos on YouTube and some bits and pieces to print out, and I went through and educated myself on what these stones can be used for in sort of witchcraft and pagan craft. A while ago I saw a video tutorial by Jane Davies on using the jelly plate to construct some collage materials, and one of the ones that she did looked so like beautiful stones that I decided that I would have a go at doing them. So the first thing that one needs to do is to construct some stencils, and you can see here I'm just using my X-Acto knife to cut out some stone-like shapes. If you are arriving at this video as the first video that you're watching in the One series, I would suggest that you head back to our main list of videos and check out episode 1, because I go into a lot more detail of explaining what the project is all about. You can, of course, find even more information out if you head over to my Facebook group, which is a large and supportive community for creative beings. The link is in the description below. So these circles are going to be used for both creating my wish stones, but also my hag stones. So you can see me here cutting out some tiny little circles, which will end up being the holes which I place inside my stones to create the hag stones. So time to get the jelly plate out. Now, to start off with, really what I did is tested out which paints were going to work best to do these particular shapes. What I found out was that the Amsterdam acrylics blended with my high flows worked really well. None of the spray acrylics worked. I knew that they created sort of a distressed shape, but actually what ended up is that it just didn't work. It didn't create a solid enough shape. What I'm looking for is to create a stone-like shape that has a very clear defined edge, because I'm not going to be drawing around these with a pencil. I want the paint to create its own edge. And so I sort of experiment with all my paints to start off with. Again, continuing this pursuit during this signature to re-educate myself. A while ago, I discovered the joy of using thread on a jelly plate. So I take a load of yarn and I just scatter it all over my jelly plate after I've put the paint down. And that is what creates the little white lines that travel around the wish stones. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So I've left a lot of the sort of process of this in this video, purely because it was such a lovely project to have fun with. Putting the actual pieces into my signature, you're going to see later, was relatively simple. I really didn't do an awful lot. This was really the work that I put in, and it's just such a fun idea. What I don't do is I don't clean my jelly plate in between taking each lift of pebbles, and that's because I really want the grunge, the sort of unlifted stuff to come through on the next layer of stones. I intentionally chose to use that notebook paper. Those of you who have been following since episode 1 will know that it's the paper I've been using to write down all my thoughts on. And I really loved it and thought it would be, in continuation with this process being about me re-educating myself, to use that notebook complete with those little tabs at the top of it felt like a fun idea. So what I'm flicking over my jelly plate there is some black Indian ink, which just gives these little sort of black speckles every now and then. I'm just imagining you all now going, please slow down and let me see the images. I promise you I show them at the end. They are absolutely beautiful. The paper that I'm using there to create the masks, the stencil, by the way, is a 225 GSM cardboard. So here you can see I haven't removed any of the paint underneath. I just put my new layer of paint on top, and that is what is going to give me these lovely speckledy beach-like pebbles. So we all know what happens when we create jelly plate prints, right? You end up with 20 million of each. But time to move on and create some wish stones. So you can see here I put my stencil down and then I put my little dots on top to make sort of donut shapes. These as well, absolutely stunningly beautiful. I had such a lot of fun doing these. Let me know in the comments, have you ever found any wish stones or hag stones? Do you have them hanging in your garden? I have to say, one of the things I'm missing most is the walks along the beach, the moments spent picking up that perfect object or that little thing that's going to inspire a piece of art. And so it was almost like a homecoming to create these little pebbles. And as you can see, no one is the same as another, exactly like on the beaches. Okay, so signature construction time. So you can see I've pulled that signature out of my journal, and now I have the opportunity to play and to create on it. What I knew is that I wanted to keep things simple, because I really learnt that about myself in episode 5. I really learnt that keeping things simple and having a rhythm and repetition makes this a really enjoyable experience. I chop down my images, I take off some of the white space, but I leave that notebook binding on the top purely because it adds a little bit of texture and a bit of interest to this page. Remembering at the beginning that this was about me learning something new, so it's not just about the art, it's about me re-educating myself. This whole project, the whole one project, was always about me experiencing being locked down with oneself and what I come to understand about me. We had a group music lesson, I and the children, the other day. I haven't played a musical instrument for many, many years, and the teacher has given us all pieces of music to play. And I thought I could just come down to my studio with them and I'd be able to sight read the music and be okay. No. And predominantly the reason is that I have forgotten how to learn. I have forgotten how to educate myself. So that's what this kind of signature was all about, really, me re-engaging with that. I wanted to obviously do some writing in this project, because that's what projects are all about. In this project about hagstones and wish stones, I grabbed this bit of paper out of the bottom of my veggie box, which had been all kind of sun bleached, and I created some faux writing paper. I used my grey marker pen to make it look like I'd done some little doodles over it. So there's some little number tags and some silly little notes that I've written there. And so I've got all of the materials I need to kind of construct now this signature. I've got my pebbles, I've got my note paper that I've made, and I've got bits and pieces from my ephemera stash that we made in part 1. And I also have all of my research materials that I can now start adding and writing bits and pieces to complete my project. I may even hand it in to my children and get them to mark it for me. What do I learn about oneself while I'm doing this particular signature? I learn that I have a joy of rediscovery. I learn that I have a joy of things that are a little bit folky or a little bit witchy, a bit mysterious. I learn again that simplicity really is the best medicine. I learn how easy it is for me to overcomplicate life when it's really not needed. And of course, I remind myself how much I miss the ocean. As with every single signature in this book, I come to a page which I call What I've Learnt, or What I Learn, or What I've Discovered about myself, and I just make some personal notes on it. And you can see there that I use those hand-stitched balloons that we made in episode 1. What an incredibly fun day I had creating this particular signature. What a joy it is to share this process with you. Do let me know in the comments below if you are travelling alongside me during this project, and do head over to the Facebook page. We love to meet new people. The final day will be tomorrow, the last day. I have no idea what I will discover about oneself during tomorrow, but I'm sure whatever it is will open up new doorways into myself.